folks, here we are. It's Baltic, right? I've got 30 seconds to do this. So Mike says, no, but I'm here with, would you believe, the brand new Mizuno JPX 923. The newest club. We got them this week. And I said, Mike, first thing we do is get out in the course and try them. And it's going to be amazing. We're here in Crossmore. It's the 17th. It's Baltic, right? I've got 3 different ones as well. I've got them all. I've got the Pro, I've got the HL, I've got everything. But we have the lot of them. The JPX 923. And this is terrible. This would be very, very cheeky. My favorite shaft. Go, we're on the road. Listen, we're on the 17th, which is a lovely par 3. In fact, it's a pain in the arse of a par 3. It's a par 3, right? That it's about 135, 137 meters to the back, all right? But for some reason, it's always a club more. So whatever club you take, it's always a club more. And due to the fact that it's 4 degrees, yeah, it should be a good 7-iron. But that was my 753rd shot this morning. It gives you, there's a bit of offset in it. It looks gorgeous because it just does look gorgeous. So that doesn't, do you know what I mean? It really does. But it sits nicely behind the ball. And it gives you confidence. Do you know that? And for me, that really is a big thing. So I'm going to hit one more of these, except then the ball falls off the tee, which is a gift from God that I've been given, or from whoever you believe in or don't. There's a nice little, there's a different sound. What's really interesting is that there's a different sound off it than from the 921 Hot Metal. It sounds a little bit thinner, I suppose, is a different. There's more of a click, which reminds me a bit of the Rogue from Callaway, the ST, okay? But a bit more like the ST Pro. Now, in my hand now, and I have a slightly different shaft, is the Pro version of this iron, which I want to see how this works. So now we're kind of getting into the swing of things, Mike, because this feels, I want to see how this is. And maybe I'm going to change the shaft, but you know what? Maybe I don't, because, so let's see how this feels. That was terrible, but that was down to me again, for God's sake. Now, here we go. Wow, that's okay. So, this is interesting. I'm going to hit this one again. A lower ball flight, which kind of makes sense because it's a tighter head. So this has got a lower ball flight, even with this shaft. That is nice. This feels different. You can feel that it's a different type of club. It's still got that kind of nice clicky sound. So it's got a really kind of crisp sound off it where you kind of go, oh yeah, I've hit this. So now, because I'm really getting organized for this thing, I also have, so now what we're going to do is, I've also got the HL. I have to say, for me, the Pro feels absolutely gorgeous. I like that. I like that a lot. So, but this one I think could be very interesting. So this one could be the one that's for people with a higher handicap. This could be a lot better. 460, this with a recoil as well. My favorite shaft. Let's see how this goes. Wow, now that is high launch. Sweet Lord. Right, let me hit that again. So what I really like is that it's doing exactly what it said in the tin. Maybe you might be able to get this, but that is, wow. My goodness, look at that. Look at that. So, you've got a family of 3 irons, and what I really like is that they all do exactly what they say in the tin. That hits the ball straight up in the air. They work, and that's what's really important. So I kind of have a good idea of where I hit these. I better have my pitch mark repair because there's a lot of them on the green, which is always a good sign. So here we go, we're on the road. So we're heading towards the green to see how we did. No. So then what's really interesting in this is that the standard hot metal, it does exactly what it says in the tin. There is a different feeling, which I have to say, I'm delighted, because it's like when you have children, you have the first one, you think number 2 is going to be exactly the same. So you expect that it's going to be the same as number 1, but it's just going to be different. So it's unbelievable. So they feel different. The Pro has a more penetrating ball flight, feels the same, but the high fly, ooh, it goes sky high, folks. It goes sky high. I'm very happy for, yeah, because sometimes an awful lot of people, they build clubs that don't really do an awful lot. Okay, that they change, or that it's the same, or that they change a badge, which is horrible for people who sell clubs. But Mizuno, they over the last couple of years, as I said, the JPX family is unbelievable. It's really good. As you can see here, which isn't bad for a donkey, is that we have a few balls that are on the green. So I have a bit of pitch mark repairing to be done, but I know the 2 best ones I hit. One of them was with the high launch, which is the one which is on the green and slightly to the right of the flag, and I also hit the Pro, which was nailed, and that landed, which is going to be lovely. So I like this. So we're going to have to do, since Mizuno changed, and they just changed, Mizuno have always been a beautiful iron club, kind of an iron company. That's what they're made for. But over the last 5 years, their woods and drivers, everything has got better. But what's really improved is the JPX family. So it went from being a bit kind of clunky and a bit Asian, because there was a lot of cut, there was blues, and do you know, it looked cheap. If I'm brutally honest, it looked cheap. It looked like, it didn't look the best. Whereas now, since the 920, since the 919 especially, it's really changed. So it's become kind of a lot more chic, a lot more stylish, it's a lot more beautiful is what it is, I suppose. So they've kind of done the thing. I think the 921s were probably the most beautiful irons and set of irons that I've seen from any family. I've seen the Ford. So at the moment, this week we got the heads from the 921. Okay, the 921, the HL, the Pro, and the Hot Metal. Okay, now the Forged and the Tour are coming out in March, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but it is what it is, and that's just the nature of the business. But I have to say, they haven't disappointed again. So it's a very cool looking club. There's not an awful lot they can do either. So it's slightly different, and I'm sure there's a lot of, they've said, well, it does this and it does that. But the reality is, it's a beautiful looking iron. And what I have to say, which stands out for me for the first time ever, is the Pro. So the Pro is an iron that's really meant for, and this is terrible, this would be very, very cheeky, but it's meant for a guy who thinks he can hit a ball, but he really can't. So it's meant for somebody who wants an iron, who wants a player's iron, but they're not really a player yet. So it's kind of like a mid to higher handicapper, say from an 18 handicapper down to a 12, right? But they want to be a player, and they're very close, but they find it difficult to hit a kind of a semi-blade, or to hit a more of a difficult forged iron, or the JPX forge. What they want is something with a bit of forgiveness, which honestly is good for us all most of the time. So where I see this coming out, it's just beautiful because it's sleek. But for me, the big standout this year is the Pro. It's a beautiful iron. I think it's gonna tick the boxes for a lot of people. And what's also very interesting, which they've come out, is the JPX Hot Metal High Launch, which is the HL. And what this is going to do, this is meant for people, because lofts have got an awful lot stronger. Jeez, it's getting brighter already. By the time I'm finished talking all this shite, I tell you, would you believe it'll be midday? I'll be boiling, half my clothes will be off. So then next, what's new on the agenda is the JPX HL, the Hot Metal HL, which stands for High Launch. So because over the years lofts have gotten a bit stronger, okay, which also, but we can go into that. We've gone into that whole thing about stronger lofts, but it's not so much about stronger lofts, but it's about dynamic launch and all this kind of stuff. But what's really interesting is that they've come out with the HL, which is meant for people who have difficulty getting the ball in the air. I don't like to say they've difficulty getting it up, because that isn't a very nice thing to say about anybody really. So the HL is meant for people, the lofts are a little bit weaker, okay, so that automatically the ball launches in the air, okay, so it's easier for people to get the ball in the air. But again, that suits a lot of people, so they're covering a lot of boxes again. So you've got for higher handicappers, so you want a club that's a lot easier, that gets the ball in the air. You've got for the standard one, for kind of standard high to mid handicappers. Listen, the hot metals of this year, I've sold them from 36 handicappers, I've sold them to 12 handicappers. It doesn't really matter, it's about what suits you. And then you have the Pro version, which is a really nice, sexy iron for people who maybe find it difficult to play with a forged, a kind of a single handicapper iron, but want something with a bit of forgiveness, but's also gorgeous. So it's some setup from this family now. They've expanded it, they've made it more to encompass an awful lot more people, and you know what? First looks they're gorgeous. Mizuno are in the habit now of making very good clubs, and as I said, what's really made me happy is that it's not just a badge change, it actually feels completely different to the 921s. And the 921s are one of the biggest selling models of irons that I've ever had. And to come out with 3 different ones that do 3 different things for 3 different people, they've ticked the boxes, and that makes a lot of sense. So if you're going to be testing irons at the moment, you should try out the JPX 923 Hot Metal HL, and the Pro. I think you might find something.
Whatever, if you wanna go, I'm down.